You know, in World Trigger, I really gotta ask the question. Jin is by far well, not necessarily the strongest, but he is one of the cheapest bastards in this goddamn show as of right now. Because I would believe the only way for somebody to beat Jin is unless if you necessarily think a few ways ahead of him, or I believe that it's way more like this. They would have beaten Jin if he wasn't using the environment to his advantage. Jin is necessarily they kind of focus way more upon the fighting than the explanation, because the only real thing that they do necessarily explain in this is the guns and the different projectile weaponry that they use, aside from being a sniper, which is such as the handguns and the homing cubes. But other than that, this is the episode that does focus more on the fighting and gets the action. It makes the action full front, even going into explanations about Jin's Fujin, which is actually a pretty interesting sword because of how many tethers it has. That's how many like energy slashes it can fire off before it has to be reloaded like a gun, essentially. And the slashes, they can bend around objects, or pretty much, for what I can tell, they travel along an object depending on like the cut. As pretty much as which we first seen, he used it to pretty much decapitate one of the other members and forcing him to bail out. So there was that. And Jin doesn't necessarily use that Fujin to his advantage, along with his side effect, to pretty much lead them into a false sense of security, taking them all out and making a few pre-planned slashes, to which that kind of led them into their false security. Also going on to the other A18, which is on Jin's side, they even though they are at a very big disadvantage, they are very capable and very smart and very much in sync, to the point where they do lose a member, but only having two members, both having leg injuries, and also a sniper. They are getting really desperate to fight off Mikawa and everybody else. So I mean Miwa and everybody else. But they do kind of leave theirs a little bit short, leaving it so that you do have something to pretty much so that you do have something to look forward to the next time you watch it. But it is one of those episodes which is like action, action, action. Look at their battle skills. This is military-esque combat at its finest, and they are displaying it. And that is what I got to say about that. This episode is actually the fights in this episode, they are rather interesting, and they are very cartoony, but to the point in which that it's not overdone. And that is something that I do like. So that is what I got to say about